Welcome to Maine. Let's take a look at how Despicable Maine is in just January 2025. Beneath the surface of this picturesque state, a different story is unfolding. It is called reality. This reality is a story not about governance, but about control. About ruling over, not governing for. And guess who bears the brunt of it all? The hardworking people of Maine. The ones who carry this state's mismanagement on their shoulders. Let's start with the 1% paycheck tax scam. On January 1st, private sector workers across Maine woke up to a smaller paycheck. The average of 46% stolen from your paycheck before you even get it is not enough. Why? Because they're funding the new paid leave program, 16 months before they can even use it. But here's the kicker. State employees? They don't have to pay their share. How is that for in-your-face hypocrisy? Their 0.5% contribution is covered by you, the taxpayers. That's right. You're paying your tax and their tax. Wait, what? You heard that right. While private sector employees have their paychecks taxed, state employees don't have to contribute. Yet, they'll still reap the full benefits of the program. State employees will enjoy 12 weeks of paid leave come 2026. But who's paying for their vacation? The struggling waitress, the factory worker, the farmer. This isn't governance. This is exploitation, and it's right in your face. With more than 23,500 state employees, the cost of covering their share of this tax is projected to exceed $8.3 million annually. And that's just the start. Struggling Maine taxpayers are footing this bill, contributing even more to a state budget that's already forecasting a $450 million shortfall for 2026 to 2027. So, why does this matter? Because Maine businesses and private workers are not only covering their own tax, but also carrying the weight for a group of rulers that's exempt. Add to that Supreme Ruler Mill's recent budget proposals, which include new taxes and fees, and you start to see why some are calling this program financially unsustainable. Maine's workers and businesses are already grappling with this new payroll tax, but Supreme Ruler Mill's proposed budget includes a slew of additional taxes. These include a $1 per pack hike on cigarettes, a 5.5% tax on streaming services like Netflix and Spotify, and even increased fees on hunting licenses and healthcare providers. And they will approve all of these taxes you are required to pay, but not them. And the timing? Workers won't even get access to paid leave benefits until 2026, but the state is already collecting money for it. That's 16 months of paying into a program you can't yet use. By the time you can use this program, the rules will almost certainly change to exclude you from accessing this program. But you can guarantee state rulers will reap the full benefits. This is how Despicable Maine always works. For small businesses, this could mean passing the full cost of the tax onto employees, making it even tougher for workers already struggling with inflation and rising costs of living. This is like going out to dinner with friends, and when the bill arrives, everyone agrees to split it evenly, except one person. Instead, they not only skip paying their share, but ask you to cover their portion too. To make it worse, they insist they're still getting dessert, even though you'll have to wait months before yours is even served. It's not just unfair, it's a slap in the face. So, what do you think? Is this 1% paycheck tax an overdue step to support Maine workers? Or is it another financial burden that private workers and small businesses can't afford, all designed to fund the supreme rulers? What do you think of the hypocrisy from state lawmakers so far in January 2025? Let us know in the comments below. Let's examine bills, budgets, and the 1%. These lawmakers are out of control. The 132nd legislature has proposed over 1,000 bills. 394 of them focused on taxes that will likely apply to you and not them. But let's be honest, most of these bills will never see the light of day. What will stick are the taxes and the fees that hurt Mainers the most. It's a safe bet that paid leave taxes, cigarette tax hikes, cannabis excise increases, new fees on healthcare providers, and even a tax on Netflix and Spotify subscriptions will pass. It's like a never-ending game of what else can we tax? Supreme Ruler Mills claims these taxes will close Maine's $450 million budget shortfall and fix the $118 million Medicaid deficit. But let's not forget who created these holes in the first place. Mismanagement, overspending, and political favors have left us with this mess. It's like going to a potluck dinner where the host promised to bring the main dishes, but instead, they show up empty-handed and demand everyone else pay for their food. Then, as you're eating, they keep adding charges. There's a plate fee, a fork fee, and even a napkin surcharge. By the end of the night, you're left wondering if there's anything they won't find a way to charge you for. Let's examine a legislature focused on themselves, and clearly not the people. While hardworking Mainers tighten their belts, the rulers and lawmakers are loosening theirs. This year, Maine's legislative rulers will enjoy a 61% pay raise, bringing their salaries to $45,000 for a 2-year term. The governor, or in reality, the supreme ruler, a cool jump to $125,000, with a quadrupled expense account. Meanwhile, what's left for the average Mainer? Increased minimum wage, sure, but at $14.65 an hour. How does that stack up against skyrocketing taxes and fees? It's peanuts. It's like watching the captain of a sinking ship grab the last life vest. Not to help the crew, but to pad their seat for comfort. While everyone else is bailing water, they're making themselves more comfortable at everyone else's expense. Maine rulers now seek to impose impact fees on megayachts. A new proposal aims to tax megayachts to fund harbor infrastructure and public transit. But critics argue, if they get away with this, your boat will be included soon. Is this another step toward targeting Maine's middle-class recreational boaters? The targeting of megayachts to fund public transit is like trying to patch a leaky roof by stealing shingles from the mansion down the street. Sure, it starts there, but how long before they're knocking on your door for your shed shingles, too? Maine rulers want cigarette tax hike to make up for their mismanaged budget. To cover the ballooning deficits, Supreme Ruler Janet Mills has proposed a $1 per pack tax increase on cigarettes. Meanwhile, some hypocrites are pushing legislation to ban cigarette sales in major retail chains like Walgreens and Walmart. Is this about public health? Or just another grab for revenue? You be the judge. The raising cigarette taxes to cover budget shortfalls is like raiding the cookie jar to fix a broken window. It's not about curbing bad habits. It's just a quick, easy grab to cover bad decisions by Maine rulers have already made. How about the strain on Maine's private sector? Private sector workers, the backbone of Maine, are being intentionally crushed. Small business owners are saddled with new payroll taxes they can't afford. Employers are forced to decide between layoffs and survival. Meanwhile, the state government marches on, insulated from the very hardships they impose on others. Understand, this isn't governance of the people. This is ruling over the people. Hey, Despicable Maine is pretending this is good news for you. As of January 1st, Maine's minimum wage has risen to $14.65 per hour, a whopping 50-cent increase. While this adjustment claims to address the rising cost of living, small businesses are left grappling with the financial strain of compliance. Now get this reality. Within 2 weeks, Maine lawmakers propose eliminating the cost of living adjustment for the minimum wage. Under the proposed legislation, the state minimum wage would be set at $14.65 per hour, and all references to cost of living increases would be removed. How is that for another slap in the face? They want to make sure you can never get another cost of living adjustment. While this simply does not apply to the supreme rulers, raising the minimum wage only to strip away cost of living adjustments 2 weeks later is like handing someone an umbrella during a storm, then yanking it away when the rain gets heavier. It's not about helping people stay dry. It's just a performance leaving them soaked in the end. A new bill could stop people using food stamps for junk food. One lawmaker is pushing to restrict the use of food stamps for soda and junk food. Supporters see this as a step toward healthier living, while critics argue it's an unnecessary restriction on low-income families. The reality? Restricting food stamps from being used on junk food is like locking up the cookie jar to encourage better eating habits. Sure, it might lead to healthier choices, but it also assumes people can't decide for themselves, or worse, that healthy options are as easy or affordable to reach as the jar. This is also why the Maine Education Department told public schools to ignore Trump's order on transgender ideology. Maine supreme rulers want a confused public that is easier to rule over. In Maine, the balance of power has shifted, from taxes and paid leave to megayacht fees and cigarette bans. The state's policies are reshaping life for its residents. The question remains, will Mainers continue to shoulder these burdens, or will they demand accountability and a return to governance by the people? If you live in Maine, you are not governed anymore. You are ruled over. What do they call this? I'm going with modern-day slavery. Living under the new policies in Maine is like being forced to pay for a membership you never wanted and can't cancel. The rules keep changing, and every time you think you've made it to the finish line, another fee, tax, or restriction pops up. It's no longer a partnership where you have a say. It feels more like being locked in a cage with the door just barely cracked open, except in this case you're still paying for the key. But it doesn't have to be this way. Maine is a state of hardworking, resilient people. It's time to push back. Hold your lawmakers accountable. Demand transparency and fairness. Speak up against taxes that punish the many for the benefit of the few. This isn't just about paychecks or policies. It's about the future of Maine and the people who call it home. Maine doesn't need rulers. It needs leaders who listen to the people, and today the rulers clearly don't care. And these actions by the Despicable Maine rulers in January 2025 alone proves yet again. Living in Maine is theft of your life. You have only two choices. Stay there and be a slave to a state that has rulers, or leave Despicable Maine. It's up to you. Move to a state that has governance, not supreme rulers.
Welcome to Maine, where the sun don't shine. Beneath the pretty surface, a darker design. A tale of control, not freedom in sight. They're ruling our lives, they're taking our fight. Hardworking folks just trying to survive, but they're crushing our backs while they're living high. The state's taking more, it's never enough. You carry the mess while they strut in their stuff. And they're laughing all the way to the bank while we pay the price. They don't even think. Despicable Maine, under their rule, the supreme rulers, they play us like fools. They take what's ours, they never say when. In the land of the free, we're living in chains again. We're living in chains again. The paycheck's smaller, the burden's so high. They tax our lives, we can't even ask why. State employees, no tax, no pay, while we foot the bill for the sunny days in Maine. Pay leave they'll take while we keep on paying for every benefit they're laying in waiting. But when the rules change, we won't be surprised. We're locked in their grip, can't see through their lies. They take from the many, give to the few, while the common man's dreams just slip out of view. Despicable Maine, under their rule, the supreme rulers, they play us like fools. They take what's ours, they never say when. In the land of the free, we're living in chains again. We're living in chains again. They'll tax your Netflix, they'll tax your phone. They'll take it all, leave you alone. From cigarettes to the boats we drive, they'll keep on taking. It's no way to survive, but we'll stand tall. We'll fight this fight. We'll break these chains. We'll take back the night. Despicable Maine, under their rule, the supreme rulers, they play us like fools. They take what's ours, they never say when. In the land of the free, we're living in chains again. So let's rise up, don't let them decide. We're stronger than they think, we won't hide. Despicable Maine, we'll break these chains. We won't be ruled by their wicked games.